Right. So if I talk about EPC and EPCM, so it's not like there are different companies who work just for just on EPC or just on EPCM.
So, hello everyone. In this technical podcast, we are going to discuss about the if you are a process engineer and you want to work in a EPC company or in PCM or in EPCM company, then how should you start and what should be your approach? So today here I have Mr. Praveen Tiwari sir. So I have met the sir in LinkedIn and he is doing very good in a LinkedIn. He teach in a LinkedIn in a well manner about the how to get a job, and he also post about the technical stuff. So hello Praveen sir, how are you?
I'm
Sorry,
good,
I am
Manoj.
again
How are
saying
you?
you sir.
That's fine, Manoj. So we have been we are used to talking in that way. So I don't have any issue to that. Yes, but I am absolutely fine if anyone calls me directly by my name,
Yeah,
irrespective of their years of experience, whether he or she is a fresher or experienced. They can call me directly by my name. So I don't find any issue to that.
yeah, in a in a corporate field it's works, right? Like whether you
Yes,
can
that's
say
right.
sir or you by name, there should be a respect in your mind actually.
Correct.
So, Bhavin sir, please let me please introduce yourself so that we could know more about you. Actually, I also do not know more about you as a background if I
That's
talk
fine.
about. So please introduce.
Yep. Sure, sure. So first of all, Manoj, thank you for inviting me
Thank you,
to your
sir.
podcast. Yep. And for my introduction, Manoj, I will start with my education. So
Yeah.
I am a petroleum engineering by qualification. So I completed my engineering in 2009. So that was from the University of Petroleum and Energy Studies in Dehradun. So yes, it has been 14 years for me in the oil and gas industry now,
Oh my God.
and I would say that it has been an interesting 14 years because I got the chance to work with EPC companies. I got the chance to work with PMC kind of roles, and also with the owner companies into the oil and gas. And with all these companies, different kind of companies, these companies gave me an opportunity to work on very diverse kind of projects, right? Related to upstream, related to downstream, LNG, and even fertilizer plants.
Okay.
Now, you already covered something in my introduction. So apart from doing my job, I also like to write technical blogs and articles.
Yes.
Mostly it is on LinkedIn. And I also have my own website, which is called #epc.com. So I use that also, to write some detailed blogs or articles. And one thing I wanted to share, and one interesting thing I wanted to share, that in 2022, I was
Mhm.
selected for LinkedIn's Creator Accelerator program. So that was a very good learning for me. I got to know a lot about content creation. I got to network with a lot of other people who are doing some very great job in creating content on LinkedIn, which may be related to our field, like the engineering and the process engineering and other part, or it can be related to some regular career aspect also. So that was a good thing for me, and it was a good learning experience for me.
Okay.
All
So
right.
as you told that you have worked with the EPC company, PMC company, and EPCM companies, right? So can you just
Correct.
elaborate more about the EPC, EPCM, PMC? Because sometimes I have seen that fresher, even I was also confused about what is the difference between them?
Right. So if I talk about EPC and EPCM, so it's not like there are different companies who work just for just on EPC or just on EPCM. These are basically EPC or EPCM are your execution strategies. So whenever
Okay.
any company, any owner, they want to say if they are constructing a new plant, they may decide on how they want to execute. How do you want to contract the whole project so that they can build the plant. Now, when we say EPC, if we are awarding a project on EPC basis, what we will do is that, and within EPC also, whether it's EPC or EPCM, it can be lump sum, it can be reimbursable. So those are different part. But suppose if I have decided to that I will award a project on an EPC basis. So the
Mhm.
contractor who will be selected for this, that contractor will do entire engineering procurement, full construction at site, right? That is what they will be doing. I'm trying to keep these definitions very simple so that,
Yes,
if
yes.
I know
In
there
a
will be a lot of
layman
new people
language.
who will be listening. So exactly, so I'm trying to keep this on a simple terms. Now,
Mhm.
on the other side, we also sometimes do an on EPCM basis, which is engineering procurement and construction management, right?
Yes, fine.
So if I am awarding a contract to to a company, and I am saying that you only need to do EPCM, what they will do is that, engineering and procurement is definitely same in both cases, no difference into that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to construction, the company, the contractor, they will only provide some construction management support to us, right?
Okay.
They will not bring on their own laborers. They will not be
Mm.
responsible for the full construction. They will come up with their procedures. They will provide us they will be doing the supervision. They will be helping us with, the construction management part, but not the full, bringing the laborers, doing the actual construction at site.
Yes,
That they
yes.
will not be doing. That will be done by the, like, either the owner, they will be doing by themselves, or they will be, nominating, some other contractors who will be doing it. So that is the basic difference between EPC and EPCM.
Okay, it means,
Now, you
yes,
all,
yes.
yeah,
Continue,
yeah, please go
continue.
ahead. No, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah, go
So
ahead, go
it
ahead.
means
Yeah.
that in a EPC there is a risk, right? As compared to EPCM. What am I
Yeah, so if I
understanding right now?
correct. So if you talk about risk, yes, the risk will be, depending on, which side you are.
Yes.
So if you are yes, so if you are if you are the contractor, yes, you have to do the entire construction. So that anything related to construction will come to you. If you are on the say if you are doing an EPCM part, you are only doing the construction management. So the construction related risk. Suppose, when we go for especially for a brownfield kind of project, when
Mhm.
we go for sometimes we find some underground surprises, right? Some obstructions and all. If it was a full EPC, and if
Mhm.
it was a lump sum basis contract, the contractor would be responsible for, doing all those things, right?
Yes, yes.
If it is an EPCM project, they will, and if such kind of things are found, that will be a joint responsibility of the owner and the contractor how to resolve that. There will be some additional labor, there will be some schedule impact on the project, so that will be, borne by both the owner and obviously whoever is doing the construction management. So yes,
Okay.
risk and opportunities, this will depend on, which side you are, and what you are doing.
Doing
But
it.
yes, whoever is doing the actual construction, there is always a construction related risk, whether
Okay.
related to, some construction surprises, whether it is related to, some other quantity variation, or, sometimes even related to safety.
Okay. If there is a risk,
Right.
then there is a profit as well.
Yeah, if there is a risk, there is a profit. If there is a risk, there may be a opportunity, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So whoever manages, that's why, that's why most of these, complex constructions are done by very experienced contractors, because they understand the risk as well. They know, the mitigation plans also, and if
Mhm.
something really, something unmanageable happens, they understand how to say control that as well.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. Thank you. Then, sir, next I want to go ahead with the process engineering, right? Let's
Absolutely.
assume that if there is a one student of chemical engineering or
Hmm.
petrochemical engineering background, right, and he or she wants to start his career in a process engineering field, then how they should
Right.
start? Sometimes I have seen that like chemical engineering student first go in any company. It could be like production, then they go in a like in IT company as well. Then they think we are not doing a technical, okay? We are not doing that technical stuff and our knowledge is not utilizing. So how they should
Right.
proceed with the process engineering? What should be the approach if they want to really go? Because in initially in a like in pre-final year or in final year, we do not know more about the process engineering.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So that's a very valid question, Manoj. Because I regularly do some career guidance sessions
Yeah,
with,
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot of people in the
I have
industry,
seen.
and mostly that is being attended by the freshers. And this kind of query is the most common one,
Yes.
because I fully agree when you say that when we go into the pre-final year, that till that time also the college students, they are not aware that what are the different career options, what exactly is process engineering, right? They are aware about, different, you know heat exchanger designs, equipment designs, mass transfer, heat transfer, but what is the application, when you will be using it, when you will be not be using it, that kind of awareness, that kind of clarity is not there, right? So that's a very valid question which you brought up. Now, how to plan for that, right? So my suggestion will be, this planning needs to, especially, with this kind of today's kind of, now information is very readily available, right? It
Yes,
was
yes.
not there 10 years, 15 years, or maybe 20 years before. Now the information is very, very readily available. So
Mm.
my suggestion to any, fresher, and this will start as early as, when someone is starting their engineering, right? If not very early, at least after first year of their engineering, they need to start deciding. So, and this, since we are talking about process engineering, I am talking, from the chemical engineering
Mm.
point of view. They
Mm.
need to start, to decide what kind of role they would want to take.
Yeah.
Now, if you talk about process engineering, there's nothing like, that only the design engineering part is a good, the production engineering part is not good, the operations engineering
Everything
part
is
is
good.
not good.
Mm.
There are every these are all possibilities for a
Yeah.
chemical engineer when they
Yeah.
go into the industry. But the main important factor is that what is your personal preference and choice, right? If you are, if you are going into operations engineer, obviously you will be working at site, you may be working on different shifts,
In a
sometimes
DPS.
you may
Yes.
not be, may be spending most of your time on field, right? So if
Mm.
you are preferring these kind of things, operations engineering is also, one of the best field in the
Best.
oil and gas chemical industry.
Yes.
But if you are not, if you don't prefer that kind of work, right, going to field, working on those kind of things, then obviously you will not like it, right? So first decide on, what kind of different kind of roles you want to do, whether you want to go for design, whether you want to go for operations, or whether you want to go for production, right?
Yeah.
Once you have decided, start understanding, maybe start reading about some stuff around the individual different kind of jobs, and try to make a list of, which are the potential companies which you want to join, right? Which who will be, or who are active in the individual fields. Once that is done, maybe starting from the second year or at least from the third year, start to target to get an internship with such companies with the
Yeah.
specific role,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Your internship
Good.
is, it is really valuable, it is very important for setting up, the direction where you will be taking your career. And if you are if you are successfully, if you are able to manage a internship in your required field, try to see if you can convert the same role into your job employment or not. If not, at least you will, if you have a good background about a relevant field, I'm sure when the, companies come for campus hiring, they will have some preference for
Yeah.
such
Yeah.
roles. So the
Definitely.
planning should start as early as possible, right? Don't wait for, just the pre-final year, or don't wait after completing your engineering degree that,
Mhm.
okay, let me now plan what to do next.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
very clear now. And the second thing which I have also seen, in our college when we were in pre-final year or final year, we didn't know about the practical. What happens in our industry,
Exactly.
right? You are reading about the, like, let's suppose heat transfer, thermodynamics, mass transfer, any subject. But we
Right.
know reactor only in a your industry, like in a your book. But when we see reactor
Yeah,
in a urea plant or any other plant, that is completely different.
that is completely different. Yep, yep. So I will give you, so again, good point, Manoj, because when I completed my engineering in 2000, and this is very honest confession. I have told this to everyone.
एक बार इनको
I was
mute
not
करना
even aware
बोलना
what
था
is the P, what a
भैया
PNID is,
जाके
right?
yeah
So when I completed my engineering, when I moved into industry, that time, so even though I was a petroleum engineer, it's very related to chemical engineering, right? It's just kind of
वहीं
a
जाके
sub
बोल
branch.
दे
I was not even aware what a PNID is, right? So those kind of things we are not aware. That's where your internship is very, very useful. Where you go for internship, try to understand what exactly you will be doing when you come back as a professional into the respective field. So use your internship very wisely. It's very important. Don't take it lightly. Don't
yes
think that you just need to have a certification from any other company. No, plan for an internship. Start planning for your career from that point.
yes. And I have also seen one thing, sir, like
Mhm.
in pre-final year and final year, if this video, if any student or any college professor is watching, they should also ensure that their student should have the practical knowledge as well, right? Because
Correct.
what happens, like when I post something, for example, let's I post a reactor, okay, and I simply
Right.
post that in a LinkedIn, okay, and i
Mhm.
i write up something about that reactor, okay, then they will
Right.
get to know, okay, reactor actually looks like that, this, and if, for example, clarifier and filter press, it looks like that, but
Right.
in a picture, if you will say, that is only 2D diagram. So
Exactly. Yeah.
the professor and the class whoever the mentor, they should also ensure that their student should have the
Mhm.
practical knowledge. Even in a university, in an engineering university, why there is the gap? Like if you will see, there is so many articles we read every day about if there is 100 students passing
Yep.
out from the campus, so only 20 to 30% are eligible to work in a technical industry, right? I am also in a EPC company. I see that the core engineers, sir, you won't believe, like core engineers are not available in EPC field. We are like,
Right.
if you will
No, yeah.
see, if you will see the floor
Yeah.
and McDormand, Technip, I
Mhm.
always read the article, so I see that they are hiring. And then I asked one of my seniors, so he was saying to me, what is happening, that the core engineering mind who could utilize their mind in a mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, instrumentation engineering, they are joining IT fields because of the money.
Right.
But they could
That's right.
they could be utilized better in that technical field. You know what am I saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
university play a very important role. I personally think that, because I have also gone through that phase. So what do you think, sir?
Mhm.
What is your like idea here?
Yeah, that's correct, Manoj. And I also believe that our, especially our engineering curriculum, that needs to be updated. There are
Mm.
a lot of things which during the four years of engineering, the first year we spend only about some general science related concepts which are useful. I'm not saying that those are not those concepts are
Definitely.
not useful, but I am sure we are spending too much time. People, especially in engineering, they are already coming from a science background.
Yes.
After a 10th we go for 2 years of that plus two kind of study, and then we move into the engineering classes, right? So if we are into, we already have some initial background, spending again 1 year to understand or revisit those things may not be required. Maybe
Yes.
that can be reduced a bit, or at least what can be done is that, like you mentioned, start giving some practical experiences as early
Mm.
as possible, right? What is a react, people should have, students should have more site visits, so, more visits
Yes.
to the corporate world to understand this stuff, rather than just going through the books. What is a valve? What is a piping? What is instrumentation? How do we do process control, right? What are the engineering documents, deliverables which we
Mm.
provide,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mentioned that I was
Definitely.
not even aware what is a P&I, right?
Yes. That is
Whenever
definitely.
I'm talking to freshers, they come up with some very basic questions, like they don't even know about what is a PFD,
PhD.
right?
Yes.
So until unless we include these things in our core curriculum as early as possible, I think that kind of struggle will continue. And I don't blame the students,
Yes. Yes.
right? The students are, they are not aware what to know, what to not to know, right?
Yeah. That is good.
Yeah. So yes, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
also, I want to request the students as well, whoever watching this video, they have initially, whenever I also like talk to them, so they also ask the one question, sir, what will be the salary? What will be the package? Okay, I think they shouldn't ask that question. Okay, that's good that you must hire any company, like when like which company you are going. Okay, that should be a good, you,
Yes.
always, like I also think that if I go in a company, that should be a multinational company. Okay, they say they should give me a, like whatever the package, that should be higher with respect to my peers, right? But what
Right.
I personally think,
Correct.
your learning should be your first priority instead of your package in initial 4 to 5 years. Because
Correct.
if you will think like you are coming from IIT background, NIT backgrounds, or any other deemed university or any top private
Mhm.
university, it's good, right? But initially,
Yeah.
if you want to go in any particular core engineering field, and that is your first priority. For example, me, in my pre-final years and final years,
Mhm.
I have sorted out that I want to be a process engineer, right? Now in production, I am getting good package, but in process engineering, I am not getting. There is some difference. I shouldn't I shouldn't go in a production company. Why? Because I love the process engineering. I could do much better in process engineering. What do you think, sir? Have you faced that questions?
Yeah, yeah. So that is, salary is definitely one of the hot topics,
Hot topic, yes.
Manoj. And Yes, its salary is important. I will not deny that salary is not important. But there are a lot of people who come from from a background that they immediately want job. They immediately want some good salary.
Yes.
They may be studying on loan, or they may have their own say personal requirements, and it's absolutely fine to plan your job from the salary point of view. No issues into that. But yes,
Mm.
like you told, instead of when you are in the initial phase of your career, instead of joining some field just because the salary is very high, if you focus on what are your skill sets, what you like, and what are you good at, that will in the long run, that will definitely help. You
Yeah.
may be starting at a lower salary. Suppose like if you are at site as a production engineer, probably initially your salary may be very high compared to a design engineer, depending on
Yeah.
what company or organization you are joining. But if you keep on developing yourself, right, if you keep on developing, learning new skills,
Mm.
if you keep on contributing to your team, to your discipline, maybe after 5 years, 10 years, you will be in a very different salary bracket, all depending on your learning and your development. So first think about what are your skills, what are your interest areas. Salary is definitely a factor, I will not deny it, but yes, for an initial phase, try to see if you first focus on your choice and development first rather than just the salary.
Yes.
That will definitely help.
Yeah. And sir, apart from that, we again come into the process engineering. And now I want to ask you, what is the role of the process engineer? Okay, now we should be more specific about the process engineer. What is the role of process engineer in a EPC company, in a process industry, we can say?
Mhm.
Okay, what is the role?
Right. Right. So when we talk about role, Manoj, so that is one good thing about being a chemical engineer joining as a in the process engineering or say group. There are several different types of roles which the chemical engineers can take as a process engineer. Now
Hmm.
first one, very common, everyone knows, they can be the design engineers,
Yeah.
right? So they can basically they will be doing the design basis. They will be designing the whole system, the
Hmm.
equipments, the packages, setting up the design basis and all. So that will be the role as a design engineer. Another very important role, or very interesting role which process engineer take, is the process technology engineer. So what this means is that
Okay.
especially if you see in the oil and gas,
Hmm.
petrochemical, or the chemical industry, there will be different technology licenses.
Yes. Yes.
If you are doing a hydrocracker unit, there will be a technology licensor for that. If you are even any other process, there will be
Hmm.
technology licensor. So if you get a chance to become a process technology engineer, you will basically either you will be developing those new processes or technology,
Hmm.
or you will be responsible to optimize the existing one.
Optimized.
So
Right.
that is also a very good core technical thing which the process engineers can do in this industry. Then another important role is being an environmental engineer. Right nowadays, obviously you may already be aware that there is a lot of interest that our plants and all should be a kind of a net zero. When I say net zero, it's
Yeah.
not just the greenhouse gas emissions. It also includes a lot of other things. The effluents and all which are coming out of of the plants. We are fully responsible for that, right? Now
Yes.
there are concepts like zero emission. There are concepts like zero liquid discharge. So obviously the process engineers or the chemical engineers play a very important role as an environmental engineers in designing those systems, controlling those things. So that is
Yes.
another very core role which the process engineers can take. Now, if you move from, just from, the site office kind of, say roles, there is another interesting role which is known as the commissioning and startup engineers.
Commissioning
So
and
that is
startup.
also, this is also still within the EPC say framework. So
Yes.
that is also a very, you are doing all the designing, everything, right? But what's the use if you're not able to start the plant
Construction.
and produce what it's designed for, correct?
Yes.
So commissioning and startup engineers,
That is also very
completing the
important.
entire system, those are very very crucial roles which the process engineers can take. And now I'm just slightly moving out of the core technical things. They can also be, I have seen people who are project chemical engineers, they started as process engineers, then they moved into project engineering kind of
Management.
thing,
Hmm.
execution, project
Yes. Yes.
execution roles, yeah, then into project managers. I am a cost engineer, and I see a lot of chemical engineers, who are doing cost engineering, because
Yes. Yes.
even though sometimes people think that if it is a cost, it's just related to finance and all. It's not that case here. We call it as a cost engineering. We need
Cost
to understand
estimation.
technical stuff around, right?
Yes.
technical stuff around the equipments, packages, so that is also a very core role. And chemical engineers,
Very important.
they are regularly coming into this. One area which is obviously, one role which is regularly overlooked, but I feel that, chemical engineers are doing very good into this, is that as a business development or marketing engineers.
Okay.
Right, so you may
BD.
say that this is totally out of yes, BD.
Yes.
You may say that no, this is chemical. What will chemical engineers do as a BD or marketing, right? But everyone should understand these are engineered projects, engineered scope which which individual companies need to do their marketing, their business development, right? We talked about the hydrocracking technology, right? So companies who are doing that hydrocracking technology, they need to sell their product to the clients, right? To the owners,
Yes, yes,
correct?
yes.
And
That's
that
that's
selling
fine.
cannot be just on the financial basis, correct? That cannot be
Yeah.
just on the financial basis. Someone needs to explain to the clients how their technology is technically on a superior side.
Superior.
So chemical engineers, they play a very important role into that kind of
Mhm.
roles also. And apart from these, operations, maintenance, reliability, and integrity engineers, those are definitely some good roles for the process engineers in the industry.
Okay, that's very insightful, sir.
Yeah.
And so, as in process engineer, let's suppose if you have like think that you have joined any company as a process engineer as a fresher like GET,
Mhm.
right? So in
Right.
initial phases, what should they think means what should be the skills they should acquire, what software they should learn, right? As a process engineer, first of all, you please tell. Then as a project manager or project
Right.
engineer because both are interrelated. I personally think, right?
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Please,
Yep.
please.
Yep. So that's I think you already gave that context, Manoj. That that's what I was about to say. You may start in any discipline. Suppose you may start as a process engineer, maybe doing
Oh,
some designing work and all.
yes,
But you should understand the full aspect of the project. Why are you designing
contract.
that equipment? Why are you designing that valve? Right? Ultimately, someone needs to know you. Someone will be designing it. Someone will be buying it within your own group, and someone will needs to install it site. Right? That is the full cycle, and then finally startup. Right? Don't limit as a fresher. Don't limit yourself into that okay, you got some information from your lead, do a designing for this equipment, or size this valve and all. Yes, first complete your task, don't stop those things, understand what you are doing, but also try to understand what is the overall picture of what you are doing. When
Mm.
you design an equipment, you provided a process data sheet. What happens next? Who
Yes,
is using that information,
information.
and what is happening next with the information which you provided till the startup of that particular equipment or scope, right? That is the most important thing which every fresher should definitely focus. Yes, initially you will not be expert in everything,
Yes,
correct? So your
that's fine.
lead, your manager, he or she will be providing you the the task, and those will be very simple things, right? Just do the calculation of one line, just do calculation of one piping or valve and all. That's fine. Complete that task, but try to understand what are the other things. Now,
Other
what I
thing.
would try to convey here, especially for the freshers and process engineering, like I mentioned, it is one of the core technical fields in the process plants, right? Whatever you are designing as a process engineer, it will have a long lasting impact on the plant's performance,
Mm.
whether it is related to operations, whether it's maintenance, or most importantly the plant safety, right? So it is a very core thing.
Cool.
Now, the most important skill to have to everyone is to be technically competent, right? You need to have your technical things, your basics as clear as possible, right?
Mm.
Some basics about thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, chemical processes, heat
Mass
balance,
transfer.
mass
Yeah.
balance. Understand the basics, right? You don't need to, remember those formulas and all, to every digit and all. That may not be required in the industry, because there will be, like you mentioned, there will be some softwares, there will be some systems. So you don't need to remember each and every formula. That's also a feedback to the college, that don't test the students whether they remember the formula or not, right?
Yes.
That is not applied in the industry.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you
Definitely.
understand the concept, yeah, if you understand the concept, that is the important thing, right? So have your basics, have your concepts very clear. One thing is about the basic process engineering calculations and all. That is one part. The other is you may be working and on a specific process sometimes, right? For example, if you're working on a refinery project, it may be a
Mm.
CDU unit, VDU unit, maybe a
Video.
sulfur recovery unit, or if you're petrochemical, maybe a steam cracker or something, right? One is the basic calculations that is there. also understand there'll be some nitty-gritties involved with the specific processes,
Okay.
right? For example, if you're doing a sulfur recovery unit, and sulfur will always have a hydrogen sulfide environment, so it's a very corrosive kind of a chemical, right? So there are always some NACE requirements for sulfur units. If you are
Okay.
doing a hydrogen plant, there will be no hydrogen-induced corrosion requirements, right?
Yeah.
So understanding equipment sizing all is one part, but understanding these kind of details also is important. So spend some time to understand the process specific aspect also, right? So that you to have develop yourself into a say better maybe professional or a better process engineer, right?
Yes.
That was all about the technical part. So does it mean that if I'm technically very strong, technically very competent, I will definitely succeed in all aspects? It doesn't happen like that.
Yes. Yes.
Especially
Definitely.
for the process engineer, you're working with a team, like I mentioned earlier, right? Whatever you are designing, someone else will be using it, right?
Use it. Right.
So your ability to work in a team, right? How well you work in a team, how do you collaborate with them, what is your communication style, are you able to explain complex things in a very simple way or not, right? So start developing those kind of communication skills. Now
Fun.
when we say communication skills, many time freshers and others get confused that it's about presentation skills. How well are you
Present.
presenting, how well you are
Hmm.
preparing powerpoints, how well you are speaking in English. But in reality, that's just one part of it on the overall communication skill. In reality, when we say communication, we mean effective communication, right? So if I am talking to Manoj, if I am trying to give some inputs to you, and if you're not able to understand, how can I make you understand in a simple way? That is called
Hmm.
effective communication, right? Focus on those aspects.
Yeah.
All right. And the last thing I would say for any fresher and for any professional, keep market information. Don't
Hmm.
just limit yourself that okay, this is what I'm maybe working on a technology, I'll just focus on that. What is happening, what is latest is happening in that technology, what is your competitors doing, right? What are the other projects, what things are being implemented in other projects. Always keep yourself updated with
Update.
latest and best thing happening in the market. Okay,
Technology.
so these three aspects: technically competent, yes, that is definitely required. Your soft skills, teamwork, collaboration, and
Hmm.
communication, and the last one, being updated with the market.
Okay. Means what I understand as a fresher and when you join a company,
Mhm.
you must you must know about the whatever you are doing, what you are doing. Okay. What is the technical know-how
Yep,
and what is the chain in a layman language? What is the chain,
exactly.
right? Like for example, if I prepare the pump
Mhm.
PDS, right? So
Right,
from that pump PDS to technical offer and the PO we say,
exactly.
right, at the end
Correct.
and the inspection. So what is the all
Mhm.
that procedure you must learn because whatever
Exactly.
you are producing that is the feeding for someone else. For example, PFD,
Exactly.
PNID and all. Okay, that's very insightful, sir. And sir, I
Mhm.
also want to know one thing. What is the impact of cost estimation in a
Mhm.
project and when they came into the picture like in our initial uh, technical offer when we propose one technical offer to the client, okay, or
Right.
between the basic engineering or detail engineering, so that please describe that point is also very important because as an engineer you must be optimized with respect to cost.
Right.
What you have to do, you have to
Correct.
provide the latest
Mhm.
technology with the best results as well as you also have
Right.
to provide the in a minimum cost what I understand, but you shouldn't like compromise with the safety because what I have seen in a small
Exactly.
company I have worked with a small companies, what they do, they
Mhm.
go with the thumb rule, right? They go with the thumb rule.
Correct.
Okay, but I think that's not good. What I personally think as an fresher, that is not good. So please, sir, over to you. What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. So cost definitely, Manoj, that is one of the most crucial aspects of any plant. Obviously, like you already mentioned, not neglecting safety and other aspect, but yes, cost is definitely that will be something which starts from the day one. It's not just that when it comes to the EPC phase, when we say the owners when they start approaching the EPC companies to give us the offer and just execute. It starts from the day when the whoever is setting the owner, whenever they are trying to set up a plant or a new facility, or if they are planning to do a modification into existing, the day one when they will start thinking, there should be a cost related to that aspect. That okay, if I am setting up a new plant, what will be the cost to it? If I am doing a modification to to an existing plant, what will be the cost and time for that, right? So it starts from that stage.
Okay.
Obviously, when we are doing it from initial stages, there will be very limited information. So there are well defined processes for
Well
everything.
defined. Yes.
In the technical terms, you may be aware that projects are there is an FEL1, FEL2, FEL3, and finally it goes into the execution. So the cost estimates are also aligned with different phases. So if whenever the project approaches an FEL1 stage, there will be a cost estimate required to be prepared. There will be processes, there will be methods to prepare that. When it goes into FEL2, which is somewhere aligns with your basic engineering phase, and also there will be a cost estimate with that, and there will be an FEL3, which somehow to some extent aligns with the end of feed stage. So wherever there is an end of feed, we need to prepare a cost estimate. Now, cost engineers, they need to, and cost engineers and the technical team, they need to work very closely, because like you mentioned, whatever is being designed, it will have some cost impact, right?
Yes.
Now you can design something which can be which can be very expensive option. There will be all high materials
Yes.
required, best efficiencies, everything. So obviously the cost will be very high. Or you can decide on on a lower thing where the cost may be low, but you may face a lot of operations, you may face a lot of maintenance kind of issues, right? That is the reason why the cost engineers and the technical team, which includes process engineers, definitely they will be part of that. They need to have regular discussions among themselves, so that we come up with a fit for purpose approach from the cost point of view, right? It should not be the plant should not be over expensive, so that that we spend so much time, or the budget, when we derive the budget comes so high that the clients on the owners, they decide that they will not go ahead with the project. It happens, because all the owners and all, they don't just spend money, they are investing money in their plants. They want some some return on investment on that, right? Whatever money they are putting. So if you come up with very high cost, and if that was not in the planned budget, the owners may cancel also. They may not go ahead with the project. So you cannot do that part, but at the same time you cannot be so low on the cost side that it's not meeting the basic requirement. So that when the plant goes into operations, you may have saved some $millions initially, but over the long run you spend so much cost in maintaining operating that it gets balanced. So there is a very regular interaction, there is a very regular collaboration between the technical team and the cost team, so that we are designing the plants on a fit for purpose basis.
Okay, that's very important.
And the cost planning starts, it starts from the very beginning. It keeps on developing depending on the different stages. So when we go into the final, just before award of EPC, that is a time when there is a very detailed cost estimate, from getting the offers and all everything. Before that, there will be on a high level, on some historical data benchmarks. That is the basis which we use to do the cost estimate.
Okay. And also, I have seen that if you will not do the cost estimation in a proper way, okay, and you will not collab with the process engineer, then there should be some like safety issues as well,
It can be, right?
right?
So
You cannot
if you're ignoring,
compromise that. Yes, yes.
exactly. Yeah. So cost is important, but yes, if there is a safety aspect, we should be aware about the cost of that. But cost does not become a deciding factor for those. But yes, it's always good to be to know that whatever we are proposing, and it's not just related to safety, Manoj. Like whenever we are doing at the initial stage, it's a good to have the cost sensitivity around each of the decisions, right? Say for example, I will give you. Probably it was some long time back we were having some discussions. There was some discussion going on some piping size, right?
Okay.
So someone, based on calculations, it was coming that okay, a 3-inch piping will also be sufficient, for a certain process condition.
Right.
So the design was going into the 3-inch selection of a 3-inch kind of piping, right? But what happens, 3-inch is not a very standard size.
Okay.
Typically you get either 2-inch, then 4-inch, then 6-inch,
Yes.
8. You don't get 3, 5, and all. So there will be very a lot of suppliers who will not be preparing
Provide.
3-inch piping,
Yes.
or if they supply, it may not be the best cost option. So when we try to we got some information from the market and all. What we found that from the cost point of view, whether it's a 3-inch or 4-inch, it's almost same.
Same.
Because you are going for some specific vendors and all. So then we gave this feedback to the to the designers and all, and they saw that okay, if from there is no benefit from cost, from cost side, and 4-inch is also the acceptable sizing for that lining. What is the point in going for a 3-inch? Then let's go ahead with the 4-inch itself. So these are some things which we may be having a discussion. We participate in a lot of discussions. It's not just related to process engineering. Sometimes, like for execution point of view, whether the cable will be underground or above ground, from cost point of view, whether there is a benefit or not, right? Putting in on a cable trays or whether putting in a trenches. So these kind of things, there is a lot of discussion with the technical team and the cost team, to have a optimized design, right?
Yes. And sir, next I want to ask you one question, and like whoever the watching our this technical podcast, whether it is a student or
Right.
a engineer, right? Whether
Mhm.
it is a process engineer or like your project engineer, instrumentation engineer, electrical engineer who is working in a EPC company, or if it
Mhm.
if the teacher, whether like assistant professor who is teaching in
Right.
a like in a university, what
Mhm.
is your suggestion to them? First of all,
Mhm.
the student who now they are about to join a company. Second, the
Right.
fresher who had already joined the company, but now they are in a stage to learn what should be their approach, and the teacher, the professor
Mhm.
who are teaching in a university, because that is very, very important, I personally think. What do you think, sir?
Yeah. Yeah, so I will start with the last part, Manoj, because we already kind of touched on this topic. So if there
Good
are
point.
if someone who is going into a university, as a teacher or a professor, and this not just applies to that individual, as a teacher or professor in general, for the college or university also, keep yourself updated with what is actually required in the industry. So theory and everything is definitely, it is required, no
Mm.
doubt in ignoring that. But yes, the teachers and the professors, they should also be aware that what are the latest things going on into the industry, and whether whatever they are teaching, can they give, while they are teaching, while they are explaining, can they give some industry related examples to explain that, right? Say for example, we were discussing about the heat and mass balance. I know there is one standard book which almost everyone uses in mass transfer. It will talk about designing of the those internals, those numbers of trays and all, everything will be there. At least explain to them
Yes.
that in reality, what does those those different stages of separators and all, what does that look. Give some examples, some real life examples, some corporate examples. So I think that will be one suggestion, to say someone who is in academics, understand what is going on in industry,
Industry.
and try to implement that in their teaching. This is not just for beneficial for the students, but this is also beneficial for the individual as a, say, teacher or professor,
Yes.
because that will help him or her also to be updated with the latest things, and maybe they can also keep on developing in their career. So that is a suggestion for a person who is going into the academic field. Now if I come back a bit, a person who has already joined maybe as a fresher, just 1 year into the industry and all, yes, you need to understand your basics very well, right? Always try to see, and that's one good approach of saying that whether you have understood something good or not. Suppose if you're already 1 year into the industry as a fresher, just about to complete, think about if a fresher is joining in your group. So you are now already 1 year into that company. Now another fresher is just coming
Mm.
and you're joining a group. Will you be able to explain the basics, what you have been doing and what is expected from this particular role in a simple and clear way to the fresher or not? So always, try to, whenever there is, newcomer coming to your organization as a fresher, try to, interact with that person. try to see if you are able to explain those concepts. Try to see if you are able to let them know what you have been doing and what is the utilization of your work. If you are doing it very comfortably, easily, yes, you have been understanding those concepts very clearly. If you struggle, right, if you're not able to explain a fresher what you have been doing in a simple way, probably there was some gap in your
Yes.
understanding as well.
Yes.
And that's nothing to worry about. That's a good sign. That is an early sign for you to start relooking about your development and start planning. But the general suggestion is, if you're already into, say, 6 months, 1 year into the industry, understand the basics.
Yes.
Don't focus just on some very core specific thing. Understand the basics, what you are doing, why you are doing. All right.
All right.
And if I come back one step down, for a person who has not joined industry, maybe about
About to
to
join.
join, I would say don't worry a lot. It's these are some good things. It's about to start. Focus on how well you can develop yourself. There are a lot of information available. Try to utilize online through either YouTube or other blogging areas. Keep on investing yourself into your time into understanding those knowledge. I think that should be fine. Don't worry a lot.
Yeah, that's very insightful, sir. And also, why I was asking this question, because initially we do not know that whether we will be suitable for the process engineer or the project engineer or the any other field, right? So, what I personally think, we
Right.
should learn about ourselves. What Where we
Correct.
are best, right? In a production, whether we are good in a technology transfer or in process engineering or in production. Okay, that is very,
Right.
very important. Initially, you must fix that. If you fix that in a
Correct.
college, it's wonderful.
Correct.
Otherwise, fix it
Yep.
as soon as possible, right?
Right.
And so, in a last, I want to ask one question, that how a engineer or a student could utilize the knowledge from the LinkedIn, because this time in a LinkedIn, if you will see, right, there is so many
Yes.
technical stuff. Okay, whether about the technical stuff, you will see like everyone provide. Okay,
Correct.
sometimes it is very, very authenticate, very knowledgeable full. Sometimes it is
Right.
also like not that much relevant. Okay, but what we are like, we are using now LinkedIn. We are using LinkedIn with one perspective to find a job or to hire someone,
Correct.
as well as we
Mhm.
are also, I personally, I what I do, I read a lot. Okay, so in LinkedIn,
Yes.
technically, if I want to read, so I read, but I also see there is some gap as well.
Correct.
So please describe that, like how we should utilize the LinkedIn in a proper way.
Yep. So Manoj, LinkedIn, when you also mentioned when that initially started, whoever was using LinkedIn, the core focus was about jobs, right?
Job,
That
right?
was so everyone started like that only. That when someone starts looking for a job, okay, let's create a profile on LinkedIn. Let's see if any job openings available or not, right? And if you remember when I mentioned about that LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program, LinkedIn also probably they realized that they are not just a job sourcing or job provider platform. There is a lot of more
Other.
beyond that, and that correct. That's why they came up with this LinkedIn Creator Accelerator program, giving a message that there will be a lot of content creation also through LinkedIn. And last 2 years, you also mentioned about it. I'm also saying that there are a lot of stuff happening on LinkedIn. There are a lot of people who are sharing their information. They are sharing their experiences on LinkedIn. So the way to utilize this, probably it may not be just say one solution fit for all. It can be different people will be utilizing it
Different way.
differently. But yes, whenever you are coming on LinkedIn, try to see who are and once you have decided your core area, what a kind of profile you want to build, what kind of career you want to build. Try to see who are the some active people into that particular domain. Try to follow them. If they are posting something, try to express your thoughts also.
Thoughts as well.
Don't just read that. What you feel about it. Try to engage with
Engage, yes.
those people. No, correct. So any social media, this is how it works. The more you are active on it, the more you are engaging on it, you will start appearing into a lot of different say either call it about searches or different pages. So that helps you to build a good network.
Yes.
So use LinkedIn for two purposes, I would say. One is for job will definitely be there. We cannot remove it, and it should be there also. So nothing wrong into that. try to build a network,
Network.
with the relevant people, so
Yes.
that you keep on getting the information knowledge from them. Try to engage with them, right? Try to engage with them. Try to see what kind of what kind of articles they are writing. What is your thought, right? So once you start writing something, and everyone need not create their own post if
Yes.
you don't have time or you don't have interest into that. But yes, if others are posting, try to to engage with them, put your own thoughts. That will also help you to start to develop an ability to express your thoughts, because many times what happens,
Exactly.
as a freshers or even experienced people I have seen, they are very good technically, functionally, or they are very good technical part, they are very strong into that, but many times they are not able to express those thoughts, right? So start using these things to express your thoughts. That will help you to maybe that will help you to develop your own communication skills as well, right? So use it in this way. The problem where what I'm seeing is that it's a big platform, right?
Yes.
So there are millions of
Millions
people
of
now
people.
on LinkedIn. So many people posting something every day. So like you mentioned that there will be some gaps. You will not be fully that okay, this is the best optimized use of LinkedIn, that whenever you open LinkedIn every time you get the best things. No, it
That
will
will
not
not.
happen. There will
Yes.
be some irrelevant things and all you need to manage. But the way these social media platforms work, the more you engage, interact with a specific field, your feed will get updated
Yes.
with information related to those fields,
Yes.
right? So that is the reason you keep on engaging. And in general, it's a general suggestion for all, not just for LinkedIn, even for YouTube or anything. Try to be always be away with any negative things, any
Filter out.
negative posts
Yes.
or comments on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Just filter out.
Filter out.
No point, you will correct, you will see a provoke sometime, offending post, provocating post, something, someone is laughing on others, making fun of others. Stay away.
Stay
Not
away
even
and focus
not
on
even
your
to, I
goal.
don't even go and correct.
Yes.
I don't even engage. Sometimes I post something and there are some negative comments. It will happen. We call them as trolls. They don't have any purpose in their life.
Okay.
They may not be helping others,
Yeah.
but if
Yeah.
someone is
Getting
trying
a
to help
point.
others, they may come up with right, negative comments, trying to put you down. They don't matter. Stay away from those people. No point in engaging with those things. The more you do that, the more your feed will get spoiled with
Yes.
that kind of
Yeah.
information.
Yeah. Yeah. That works. That works. Yeah. So that was the some insightful discussion with you, sir. And I have also seen one thing like uh, in LinkedIn, if you will see, like we approach others, right? For seniors
Yeah.
or whoever in our domain, we try to engage with them, like whether we
Mhm.
message them or in comments. For example, if someone who is interested, okay, who wants a job, or initially
Right.
we like as a fresher, as I have already told you that when the 100 engineers pass out from the college, only what 30 to 40 or 20 to 30% are well eligible for that job, right? Now
Right.
when they approach in a LinkedIn, so I have
They
personally,
don't get a reply.
they didn't get the reply. As well as there is another thing as well.
Mm.
Right now I was in that phase as well, when I was not getting the reply, and right now I am in that phase where I am not able to give the reply, right? So how to
Correct.
deal with that problem, you can say, and what should be the approach, okay, from the both point of view, where when you
Correct.
want to give and when you want something.
Right. So Manoj, the first part, say especially when you start growing on say LinkedIn or any of the social media, obviously when your network increases, uh, so your level engagement with the people will also increase. So definitely
Hmm.
expect that there'll be a lot of such messages. And yes, I agree. There is a
Yes.
practical aspect of it. Even that happens with me also. You will not be let's accept that it may not sound a very positive, but that's a fact that you will not be able to reply, answer each and every
Each
every
and every.
person.
Yes.
That's a very practical answer. It's not about that I don't want to. It's not about that I'm arrogant or I am not supporting that person. But right now if I open my LinkedIn chat, probably today morning only I checked that it was at somewhere in the range of 130 unread
Yes.
messages, right?
Yes.
So
I can
even though I want to
understand.
interact with them, it's practically it's
Not
not
possible.
possible.
Yes.
So don't feel too bad. But yes, don't always ignore. That's I'm talking from on the
Yes.
responder
Yes.
side. If you
Definitely.
if you find
Definitely.
something, if you see something is relevant, something is important, yes, at least try to reply to them, try to help them. So that part should always be there. No, other part when we are sending, so when I say that I have 130 messages and I haven't replied a lot to them. There's a problem that when we are
What?
sending a message,
Yes.
we should understand that yes, LinkedIn is kind of professional platform. I am connected to a lot of people whom I don't even know, right? I don't know them personally. I don't know about their background, right? So when I am when as an individual, if you are sending a message to someone, understand that the person, it does not know anything about you, right? So don't just send a message, hi Praveen or hi sir, how are you,
Yes.
that's it, right? Out of that 130 messages, I am sure 100 messages will be like that. Now the problem is that when I have so many 100 messages, and if that message doesn't give me a context, right? So tell me one thing, if someone is sending a message, uh, which message will you prefer to answer? There is one message which just says, hi sir, hi Manoj, how are you? There's another message which says, okay, hi sir, how are you, hope you are doing very good and all. Those are some basic courtesy definitely required. After that, immediately, Praveen, I found this job on this, this company. This, I feel that this position is
Yes.
relevant to
Yes.
me. I have a relevant experience. Can you refer to me? Refer me. Obviously, I would want to reply that one first, right?
Hmm.
Be very specific. Don't be rude. That you just send a message without any initial introduction. All yes, give an initial introduction. Keep your message short.
Short.
Explain
Short and clear.
what you need. Your chances of receiving a message will be high, but you also need to understand, don't send messages like, okay, you send a hi first, please help me with a job, it will not help.
Not have.
Or
Yes.
is there any opening in your company, it will not help, right? Be very specific,
Be
you know
specific.
and don't ask for job referrals where you also know that your skills or profile is not matching.
Matching.
So
Yeah.
if I'm a cost engineer, if I'm a cost engineer and I want to change into maybe say design engineering or any other execution engineering, execution part,
Yes.
if I am asking a referral to a person to something which is not relevant, again, chances of
Sounds very
getting
less.
a reply or
Hmm.
any positive outcome is less. Be specific. Try to utilize your time in a better way.
Yeah.
Right? Don't just randomly send messages. It doesn't help. It doesn't help. Right?
Yeah. That's all right, sir. So that was the very, very insightful discussion with you about the EPC field, okay, about the process engineering domain, as well as how to utilize your skills as a fresher, as a like when you are a student or as a professor as well. And it was very insightful that how to use the LinkedIn in a well manner. So
Yep.
thank you very much, sir, like you came and you give me a chance that we just do one technical podcast that we could share the information, okay, that is very very useful because in a like right information in the social media domain, in a social media domain the right information is very less. There is available, but like uh after the digitalization of the COVID, the information is large, enormous, I could
Right.
say, right? But before that, it was not available. And even right now, as well, if you will go in a YouTube or in any other social media handle, you will see another stuff,
Correct.
non-technical,
Yep.
all that, all blah blah is more, but the
Mhm.
technical stuff is less. Okay, but I
Right.
hope that this technical podcast will help everyone whoever wants to make his like their career in a EPC field or related to that, right? So
Mhm.
thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, and hope we will also meet again and with another topic, right? It could be
Sure.
like with respect to safety, with respect to cost engineer as well, because that is also
Yep.
very hot topic, how to become, what should be
Right.
your approach as a process engineer or as a fresher. So thank
Right.
you very much.
Thanks, Manoj. Like I told
Yes.
earlier, thanks a lot for inviting me. I am glad that you are doing, this this podcast. I saw your channel. I think it's a lot of useful information there. So, I would say all the best to you.
Thank
Keep
you.
continuing with such stuff. I am sure this will help a lot of people.
Yes.
Right. So,
Thank you very
all the
much,
best
sir.
to you and your channel. Yeah.
Okay. All the best to you as well, sir. So that is my first
Thanks.
technical podcast actually, right? So I was
Oh,
like,
perfect.
yeah, I was thinking about to like start the technical podcast because you will see in our YouTube right now, there's the podcast. Okay. Like
Correct.
there is so many podcasts, but technical podcast with respect to EPC or engineering field is not there. Okay. So what I was
Yes.
thinking, I approached so many persons. Okay. They also gave me the reply. Someone was busy because everyone is busy, in this field
Yeah.
everyone is busy, I'm also busy, but you gave me the time, okay, and we just make it schedule and Next time maybe it could be more better one to one. Okay, so
Yeah.
thank you very much to give me a chance, and we will meet soon as well. Okay, so
Sure, Manoj. Sure.
okay, so thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Best of luck
Okay.
for your.
Thanks. Thanks, Manoj. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Bye.
Okay, see you soon, sir.